they could explore our country or get our message to their country or to their relative countries. So it's great.
And what is your message?
Our message is to come here and explore our country. It's a very good country and the people are good. They are kind and they are very generous people.
Pleasure meeting you.
Same here, same here.
Take care. We have our next street food right here, and this is a wild one. This time instead of liver, we have cow stomach. That's right. The minced stomach is already coated with a dry seasoning blend with over 10 spices. And then he adds in a little tomato, and that's it. I'm gonna order right now and see what happens. First, he brings out some of the stomach, he heats it up, he puts it on the plate, he gives it a bit of a smash, boom, and there it is. If I'm honest, I thought there was gonna be more steps. All right, folks, let's get into it. Cow stomach. It's not pretty, but it's not meant to be. Come take a look. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, the cow stomach is a very fatty organ, so if you hit it against some hot steel, it could get kind of crunchy. It could create a nice Maillard reaction. So I'm gonna break some bread and we scoop up some of that meat. That is some intense looking meat. Let's give it a shot. It's like Afghan chitlins. I don't hate it. This is not a food for the uninitiated. If your favorite food is Chipotle, this is not gonna be for you. It's got some game to it. It would knock most Americans on their feet. There's some smoky flavors in there. There's some fattiness. It's very rich. They got these little masala ashtrays on all the tables. It looks like craters inside because every guy who's been in here before you has been putting their fingers directly into the masala and putting it onto their food. But all right, this is the Afghan way. I wanna hit it with some of this. I believe this is cumin and a little bit of salt too. Jump on board the masala train, my friends. A little bit more punch. I like it. This would pair perfectly with beer. And I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna find one nearby. Can I? That should be the ultimate conquest of this series.
These little meat morsels didn't make a dent in my wallet, so I need to search out something bigger, what some might call the culinary pride of Afghanistan.
You see, other restaurants, you might go and just get some rice, but here, on top of that rice, they're gonna give you a big chunk of meat like what you see here.
But before that, I'm headed to a place where chicken is roasted upright, like soldiers in formation. Here, men tend the grill, and men line up to eat. So where are the women?
Here's the situation. You know, you read a lot of stuff about the gender situation in Afghanistan before you come here, and then it's a little bit different once you get here.
When the US withdrew and the Taliban took over in 2021, they implemented something called Sharia law, a strict Islamic legal system that even outlaws music. I heard women can only travel with a male relative, but at least in Kabul, I've seen women moving alone and with other women.
On the streets so far, I've noticed maybe 20% of the people are women. Not all of them have to be covered up. I mean, there's women walking around just with the hijab on, and there's plenty walking around with what they call the Afghan burqa. I'm not sure what the rules are. I think they have to wear some kind of covering, but it doesn't have to be a burqa.
I heard girls don't receive secondary education, and that's true. Some say the Taliban is just waiting to create the appropriate curriculum, while others admit it'll likely never happen. What's clear is that any topics around women are extremely sensitive.
I met a family today who was Afghan British. They're from the UK, but they came back to visit Afghanistan. They knew my channel, they said hello, and I said, hey, could I take some video of you? And the mother, an Afghan woman wearing a hijab, said, no, it's against the rules. So evidently, there are some rules.
We ourselves have been told and warned many times not to even film women. By the rules of those who have permitted us to film here, it's like they'd prefer you to not even know Afghan women exist.
So the issue, I would say, is very complicated. From here, I intend to take on Afghanistan's national dish, a dish known as palau. We're headed there, not next, but after that. I thought I'd seen chicken grilled every way possible around the world, but that was until I came here to Afghanistan.
The Afghan way of grilling chicken starts with a pool of marinade made of yogurt, MSG, salt, dried ginger, red chilies, wine vinegar, and water. The chickens are soaked in that flavorful bathtub for a couple of hours.
The chicken, already marinated, goes onto this giant steak. One by one, he then ties the string around its ankles, and he tying the string around the chicken's ass. Ugh. This is gonna anchor the chicken to the pole. Now, when preparing this food in Afghanistan, it's important that all the chickens are beheaded. I don't make the rules. All right, folks, it is time for the chicken grilling to begin. From here, he pushes each steak down into this dirt and ash. And now that he has finished building his wall of chicken, it's time to start the fire and get these babies roasting.
When the chicken blazes a molten orange, it's pulled from its vertical spit. Split the chicken open, flatten it onto a rack, then give it a quick grill over charcoal for that extra hit of smoky flavor. Once hot, it's tossed onto a plate where it receives a sprinkle of chicken masala, a bowl of yogurt, and a handful of shredded cabbage.
Wow, you would never believe it, but there was just a giant Ford F-150 with a giant turret on the back parked across the street. All right, welcome to Kabul, baby. What? Chicken. An entire freaking chicken that costs only $4.90. That is how much chickens used to cost in the USA. Now to get that same deal, I have to fly all the way to Kabul. I'm gonna start right here. The breast has no fat. If the breast is juicy, then you know that dark meat's gonna be real nice. Let's give it a shot. That is one of the driest chicken breasts I've ever had in my life. And the way he's cooked it, he's stuck his tongs in there, he's really flattened it out. And I get it, the goal is to cook it all the way through, but he's really tried it out at the same time. Luckily, I have this yogurt with some herbs and other stuff inside. That is spicy, oh my God. So that was a bit of a brutal start. Right here we have the chicken thigh. It is much more difficult to mess up a thigh. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a dip in the sauce. That's actually very nice. I would say the two most remarkable things about this are, first of all, the price, but also the way they make it. It's so cool. At this point, I've seen chicken made at least 100 different ways. Even when I was in Thailand with Mark Wiens, they used an oil can to cover chickens on steaks, and they used grass to burn around those oil cans until the chicken inside cooked all the way through. There is no end to what you can do with a chicken, and this is just more proof of that here in Afghanistan.
For our Afghan street food finale, I'm visiting a family-run restaurant that's been serving Afghanistan's national dish for 24 years.
We have arrived at our final location where they're serving up a dish known here as palau. But let me back up a second. Central Asia is really known for this food. I've had it in Uzbekistan where they call it plov, and I've also had it in Kazakhstan. But here in Afghanistan, they make it a little bit differently. We're gonna head into the kitchen to see how it's done. Under here is a deep pan, and inside of it, there is over 125 pounds of beef. From here, he's gonna pop off the lid, and we're gonna see the beef inside. Oh. Not at all what I expected. It's so watery. Every time I've seen plov or palau, the meat is seared and then kind of steamed. But here, it's been boiled for a few hours. The first and most crucial step. He's removing all the big meat chunks from this pan. Right now, he's separating it according to the body part. So he's putting some on this plate, he's putting some in this pot right here. Once all of it is organized and removed, he's gonna be able to remove the small bones that have fallen off the meat during this braising process. Now that our deg is clean, it's time to build up the palau, starting with a thin layer of carrots to insulate the pan from the meat. The next step is dumping all that clean meat back into the deg. He has to place each piece perfectly so it can balance well